This is just Bob Bowman, and I'm coming at you with another video. In this video, the topic is going to be, do I think anybody owes me anything? And before we get started with the answer to that question, I wanted to take you on a journey to where I was a few years ago. By the time I moved into this place that I'm at currently, which is my own house, 3 years ago, I moved in here. And I moved in here with my father. And when I first moved in here, I was beaten down. I was both humiliated and humbled to have to come into this place. And I was a defeated person. And when I came in here, my father, he said, "Hey, you know, this is going to be your place. All you got to do is do these steps, make sure you take care of your end of the bargain, and I'm going to make sure that you're settled and you're okay." And during these 3 years, I did what he told me to do. He gave me the instructions and I followed them. To be honest with you, I didn't think that it was going to get to this point where I would actually own the home and it'll be in my name. And I was saving up money. In my mind, I was thinking that, if this doesn't go through the way that he would like it to go through, or if the way that he says that it's going to go through and he got to continue staying here, at least I have a down payment for my own house or a condo or something like that. And that's where I was at, because even though he told me that he was going to help me out and get in this place, I didn't bank on it, because I know for a fact that he didn't owe me this place. He didn't owe me the help, and he was helping me anyway. So that's all he really needed to do, was the minimum amount of help that he gave me. Fortunately, it worked out for both of us. He got to where he needed to be. I'm where I need to be currently, and I'm in a place where I'm not at risk of getting kicked out, or I don't have any neighbors above me or below me making a lot of noise. Like, I got next door neighbors, but they're not really as loud as what some people could be. And the block that I'm on is relatively quiet. So I'm doing okay, compared to where I was 3 years ago. And 3 years ago, I was staying in an apartment on the south side of Chicago, and it was a very violent neighborhood that I was staying in, and the block that I stayed on specifically was very violent, and it was causing me a lot of stress, and a lot of other things were happening, and I was able to get away from that environment into the current environment that I'm in, and it was all because of what my father did for me, and he didn't owe that to me. Me and him wasn't on the best terms during that time when I first moved in here. But after we got to really get to know each other, and I got to see the type of person he was, and we created the bond that we needed to create years ago, and I became more comfortable with who it is that I am as a person. I was like, this is what I really needed in my life from the beginning. It gave me the confidence to just be me, which I didn't have previously. But now I'm at that point to where I'm comfortable with who I am, what I say. I understand that nobody owes me uh, understandability. They don't. If they don't want to understand what I'm saying, if they don't want to understand my point of view, if they don't agree with me, they don't have to. And they don't owe me that. They don't owe me uh, being able to just agree to disagree. If they agree with me to the point to where they don't want to be around me, that's on them. You know, I had to come to the realization that nobody owes me anything. Recently, I went and I did some volunteer work for somebody. I didn't even tell that person I was going to do it. I just showed up. And this was the day after my father moved out of the country. And I did it. I was cordial. I was cordial to that person, to everybody that was associated with that person. You know, I didn't want any smoke. I wasn't looking for that. Unfortunately, that person decided to say some negative things about me behind my back with some people that we both were associated with. And when I found out, it kind of hurt a little bit. And the reason why it hurt is because, like, I came being friendly. I didn't come to down anybody, to put anybody down. I even gave that person some encouragement. And I still got crapped on. And somebody told me, a neighbor of mine told me that, you know, in a good book in the Bible, it says, don't be weary in good doing. And I'm paraphrasing, but it says, when you're doing good, don't be weary when you're doing it, because you're going through negative results from doing what you thought was a good thing. Because if it was in a genuine place and you were sincere, the Most High, He sees that and He will reward you maybe later on down the line. Who knows? But at the same time, you just have to accept what's going on, because even another quote that I've read for myself, it rains on the just and the unjust. And I know I didn't do anything to hurt or harm that person or to offend that person. For them to attack me personally, it was uncalled for. But it let me know where I stood with that person, and that person hasn't even attempted to get in contact with me ever since that happened. And I'm just going to leave it alone, because they don't owe me an explanation. They don't owe me an apology. They don't owe me anything, because they said how they felt. You know, they think the way that they think, and I just have to respect the fact that they have shown their true colors and don't want to be around me, even though I did my best to be cordial with that person. And this isn't the first time this has happened to me. This happened to me quite a few times over the past few years. And I had to understand that, you know, I can't control how people feel about me. They don't owe me respect. Even if I do my best to earn the respect and they still think that I don't deserve their respect, I'm not going to get it. The only thing that I have to do is to respect myself personally. And if it affects me negatively to the point to where I'm troubled by it, I need to get away from that person or those people. Unfortunately, I had to get away from a whole community because of that. And I had to reevaluate myself and reevaluate my thinking and to do what I needed to do to heal from everything that's happened to me, you know. And I understand that, you know, there's a lot of women out there who have known me in the past that think that I hate women or I, dislike, you know, people and all that, and that's far from the truth. But I used to think that how I treated others, if I'm kind to them, they would treat me that way. But I had to understand that I shouldn't expect any of that because I'm not owed that. If I treat people kindly and they say that I don't deserve it back, I don't need to be around those people. It doesn't matter who it is. It doesn't matter if I'm a part of an organization that they're all in. It doesn't matter if I'm in a religious setting that they are all in. It doesn't even matter if it's family members. And it doesn't matter if I consider that person a friend or an associate, because how they act towards me is what's mostly important to me. And sometimes I have to understand that, I may do things, sometimes intentionally or unintentionally, that may trigger them to act that way towards me. And sometimes it could be a difference of opinion. One thing that I always go through is people trying to hook me up with individuals that I don't find attractive. And I say no, and then they still try to push that person on me until it causes a fallout because they're like, we're trying to give you something that you obviously need, but you're not being appreciative. And they don't owe me the fact of understanding how I feel and understanding my personal boundaries if they don't want to. Now, if they can't respect it, then that means that I can't be around them, they can't be around me because I don't owe anybody. I don't owe a person that I don't like a date. Have I done it before? Yes, I have. And I did it because I was like, I'm gonna treat this person good, and maybe if I treat this person good, and I said tell them no, like it'll get around that at least he's treating women decent, and that doesn't work. This is something that they talked about in How to Be a Player back in the '90s, and that was 30 years ago. How to Be a Player. It's 2024, almost going into 2025, and you coming with 30-year-old game. The women already know this game. Stupid. Uh, they watched the movie How to Be a Player, and they went into their playbooks to readjust how they do things. Which is why you have some women who most or many men may find unattractive. They they now are more inclined to try to force or bully their way into a relationship with certain type of men, and to be the men that the most majority of women ain't checking for. You see, because they know that playbook of, if I just go on a date with this woman and treat her good and da 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 da, no, they still gonna look at you like you're a terrible person because they don't like you, and it doesn't matter what you do. It was a harsh reality for me to have to face, but I finally understood that, and that's why I'm like, why even waste my time? Why even waste my time? Because I don't owe them that. I don't owe any single mother that I'm not interested in. I don't owe them help with their children because I didn't help her create those children. And I've said that so many times that it's needed to be repeated again because I'm standing firm on what it is that I'm saying. If I'm interested in the woman that has a child or children, then that's a different story. But if I'm not interested in her, I don't owe her anything. If I go out and volunteer, if I speak to the children, which I sometimes do, that's from the kindness of my heart, and that's me paying back what I think that I owe to the community, and for me to feel a little bit better about my situation because I'm going out and I'm assisting a little bit, even though it's not a lot, but it's more than nothing. And I understand that there's some people that don't even appreciate that. So if I do it, if it's out the kindness of my heart, I don't expect a thank you anymore. I don't expect validation. I don't expect people to appreciate what it is that I do anymore because I do it out of the kindness of my heart. And they can hate me because I'm not willing to downgrade my boundaries to fit their delusion of who they think that I am as a person. It's not going to happen. And I've had to just accept that, accept who I am as a person, accept the consequences of my personal choices and decisions, and stand on business even if it doesn't feel good because nobody owes me anything and I don't owe anybody anything. But with that being said, this is just Bob Bowman. If you like this video, please like, share, and subscribe. I'm going to put my Cash App in the description if you want to donate and to help me get motivated into doing more of these videos. And I'm out.